Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to try to solve this problem. At the same time, I'm going to follow the general interview steps while trying to solve this problem. So let's get started. So in the real interview, the first step is always to try to understand the question. If there's anything unclear, please bring the clarification questions to the interviewer. At the same time, think about some edge cases. So let's try to read through this problem first. So given a 2D grid consists of 0 representing the island and 1s representing the water. So an island is a maximal 4-directional connected group of zeros, and a closed island is an island totally surrounded by 1s. So we are going to return the number of the closed islands. So let's see the example first. For this example, we are returning 2. That is because we have 2 closed islands. So there are 2 other islands like this one, the upper right corner. So this one is an open island because it's just partially surrounded by 1s. And similarly for this one, that's why we return 2 for this one. And similarly for this example, we are going to return 1 because this is only a closed island. So let's see the constraints. We have the row number, the number of the rows, and the number of the columns for the grade anywhere between 1 to 100. So this means we are not going to be given a empty grade, and every cell has a value either 0 or 1. Alright, so having said that, I don't see any clear edge case at this moment. So let's try to find the solution. So how to solve this problem? So there's not too much of the room to think about any very innovative way. So this is a pretty traditional DFS problem. For DFS, we are going to define a DFS function. For this specific case, I would say we are going to return Boolean as a return value for the DFS function. So the return value indicate whether the island is a closed island or an open island. If it is a closed island, then we are going to return true. Otherwise, we return false. So for the condition we exit this DFS is either we go out of the boundary of the grade, which means we are going to return false. If we are hitting a 1, which means it is a piece of water, then we are going to return true. Otherwise, we are going to visit 4 of the directions: upper, bottom, left, and right. And within this closed island function, we are going to go through do one pass through each cell. So if it is a 0, then we are going to call the DFS function to try to extend as much as we can. So having said that, the runtime is gonna be is going to be O m by n. So m is the number of the rows within the column within the grade, and n is the number of the columns within the grade. So that's it for the solution part. Let's start to do some coding work. So like I said, I'm going to define a helper function. Say we are going to return Boolean as the return value. You're going to give it a pass in the grade, and also we are going to pass in the current position we are trying to visit. So like I said, we are going to do one pass through each of the cell. But first of all, let's get the number of the rows and number of the columns from the grade. So the column is going to be grade 0 $. Remember, we are not going to be given a empty grade, so we don't need to check whether this is the empty one. Otherwise, we may need to take a look. If the grade.length is equal to 0, then then it is going to cause some error here. But we don't need to worry about this. So you're going to do one pass through each of the cell. I from 0 to row, and j is from 0 to column. So if the current grade is a 0, which is a piece of land, then we are going to call DFS. And if a DFS return true, which means it is a closed island, then we are going to so we will need to define the num closed islands. If this one is going to return true, we are going to num closed islands. So DFS function we are going to call passing the grade, the current position. So finally, for this function, we are going to return the number of the closed islands. And for this helper function, the DFS helper function, we are going to fill in the logic at this moment. We are going to have a similar piece of the code to get the number of the rows and number of the columns. So once we are going out of the range, which means if current x is smaller than 0, or x is larger than or equal to the row, or y is smaller than 0, or y is larger or equal to the column, then we are just going to return, let's say we are going to return false. So otherwise, it is not out of the range, which means it could be either 0 or 1. So if it is a 1, which means we are going to a water piece, then we are just going to return true here. It should be 1. Return true here. Otherwise, we need to visit each of the 4 directions. If any direction return a false, then we are just going to return false. So we have up. Say this would be DFS on grade. This would be x minus 1 y. And similarly, we are going to visit all of the directions. This will be down, left, and the right. Just small little changes. This will be +1, this will be x, and y minus 1, this will be x, and y plus 1. And finally, we are just going to return the end of all of it. Up or down, and left, and right. So that's it for this piece of code. So we are going to rely on this platform to help us to do the debugging work. Okay, so let's answer this one. We are going to have a wrong answer. We output 0, but expected is 2. So let's see why. So we have the row as the length of the grade. This is the number of the columns. If x is x or y is out of the range, then we are going to return false. Otherwise, we are going to. Okay, so I forgot to set the x and y as 1. That is because we definitely need to set as 1. Otherwise, we are going to revisit the same cell over and over again. And also it's going to cause some wrong answer. So let's run this piece of code again. This here, it is still wrong. Let's see why. If it is x, y is equal to 1, then you're going to return true. Otherwise it's 0, and we definitely need to set this as 1, and then we visit each of the neighbor, up, down, left, and right, and then we return the end of everything. Okay, it's just there are some typos here. Alright, so now we are good. Let's run through some other examples here. Okay, so that's it for this coding question. So remember, you may want to write the code like this. If you write the code, which is a mistake I made before, if you write the code in this way, oops, this is gonna be a wrong way to write the code. That is because in Java, yeah, So let me finish this one. So that is because in Java, this kind of thing, if this is going to be false, the rest of the logic is not going to be executed, because in the logic we have this piece of code which is going to change the cell value for the grade. Then it is going to some issue if you read the code like this. So we definitely need to have the different directions to be executed to fill in the new value for the corresponding cell for the grade. So that's why we don't want to write the code like this, but rather we want to implement the code like this. Alright, so that's it for this coding question. If you have any question regarding this piece of code or regarding the solution, feel free to leave some comments below. If you like this video, please help subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.